be nice to be able to wake up every single day and feel exactly like that, right?
Right. Yes.
Yay. Thank you for this picture. Will you guys come to my house every morning?
Can we record it?
Oh, okay, that would work. That would actually work. Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome to have that as an alarm? Wow, so we are in our 6th week of our Prosperity series, Prosperity Plus. Yay! Yeah, we've been having a great time on Wednesday nights, I have to tell you. And I have so enjoyed this. I know I tell you that every Sunday, but I'm really, really enjoying this series. So I'm glad that we're doing it. Just to review, we have, whoops. Thank you. Action is the magic. I know I told you that being of service is the magic, right? Well, hey, same. You got to be in action to be of service, right? Service, being of service is my magic. It's what makes it all come together for me. But it is about being in action. You know, I've been in recovery for 34 years. Wow. Okay? And I don't tell you that to get the applause. I tell you that because it's important for me to let you know that I spent many, many years before that sitting on a bar stool talking about all the things I wanted to do. I did a lot of talking while my rear end was making that groove in the bar seat, right? Lots of it. And I am so grateful today that I recognize the difference between talking about it and actually doing it. And I recognize today the difference between sitting around talking about it and being brave enough to stand up, walk out my door, and get it done. You know, it's just fear that kept me on that bar stool. It was just fear that kept me from being willing to commit to certain things in my life. Just fear that had me running away from God. And I have to tell you, Jonah didn't run anywhere near as far as I've run. And I say just fear as if it's no big deal, when really it's the one thing that keeps us down, right? It's the one thing that gives us limitation. Fear. I am so aware today of the fact that fear only has the power I give it. And that sounds like a really good platitude, right? Fear only has the power that we give it. If I could wrap something up in a bow and hand it to children, young teens, young adults, if I could just give them a package that I feel would drastically change their lives, it would be a true understanding of the fact that fear has no real power in our lives unless we give it to fear. But we can't do that, can we? They have to learn their own lessons. I wish I could give it to them in a package, but there's only really two things that alter our lives drastically, and that is a traumatic event or a shock of some kind. It happens to us quickly and severely and strongly, and wow, it can change our trajectory for the rest of our lives. And for me, I can tell you honestly that anything like that ever happens, it really involves a lot of pain. for me. The other thing is consistently training your brain to think something different. And that takes time, it takes discipline, it takes understanding. You have to have a lot of self-awareness to understand and recognize in yourself when you're doing the things that aren't benefiting you, so that then you can stop them and put in a new behavior. Those are the only two things. Pain or a lot of work. Pain or a lot of work. I can tell you this, a lot of work doesn't always look real good. That actually wasn't what I was going to talk about today, but... You know, forget my slides. I want to go right into Matthew 7:7. Matthew 7:7. It says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks the door will be open. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask? Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you." I believe that each and every one of us are seeking. That's how we end up in a unity church, right? We go out seeking, and we end up at a New Thought church. How many truly, truly believe that? Yeah. Do you forget about it when you get scared? No? Nice. Well, sometimes when things are looking a little rough, like, well, it could be a million things. When things are looking a little scary, a little bit different than what I think I'd like them to be, then I can easily forget that I already asked God to allow me to do His will for Him today, to let me be of maximum service to God and the people around me today. I ask that every single day. I ask that I be mindful and present in all the work that I do today. I ask lots of wonderful centering things. And then I step out the door and I stub my toe and I forget all about it. Even if it's just for a moment. Wait a minute. I asked today. Okay. I shall receive. Because I don't have to give fear that power in that moment. Bless you. So how many of you are familiar with a gentleman called Thomas Trower? Nice, good. I'm glad that there's only a couple of you. You know, with this group here, you guys are definitely like the advanced group. You guys already know everything I want to tell you. But I want I love this. This is Thomas Trower. He actually was a New Thought author and leader. This is one of his quotes. "Belief in limitation is the one and only thing that causes limitation." The belief in it. That's the same thing as the fear, because, you know, limitation is fear, right? The belief of lack is fear. So the only things that causes limitation is our belief in it. I love that. But this is what I really want to talk to you about. This is also Trower. "My mind is a center of divine operation. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new. not included in past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. My mind is the center of divine operation. Divine mind lives in us. Divine mind, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Divine operation. Our mind, right? And the divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. I say all the time to people, God is always working on your behalf. God is always working on your behalf. And when I say that, this is what I mean. It was so magical for me to actually get the words to, this is what I mean. Divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. Not limitation and fear and sadness, but expansion and fuller expression. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before. So when we can get in touch with divine mind, we can get in touch with divine intelligence, we can experience something we've never experienced before. How many times does it seem like it just comes from thin air? Magic. Something we've never experienced before, something we didn't know before that we suddenly know all of a sudden. And this means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. So, in our growth and the expansion of our mind through divine intelligence, we don't throw away the past. What happens in our new experience grows out of that past experience in an orderly fashion of growth, right? Love this stuff. Therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, one thing about God, if I ever give you a quiz and I say, what are some things you know about God? If you want an A, you always raise your hand and say, God is unchangeable. God never changes. God is not capricious. God does not look down upon us from anywhere and say, today you're getting the good stuff, today you're getting the bad stuff. That doesn't happen. God never changes. So divine cannot change its inherent nature. It must operate in the same manner in me. Since we are divine, that unchangeable nature of God has to work in us as well. Consequently, in my own special world, which I am the center of, by the way, it will move forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that have gone before. Praise God. And what keeps that from happening? Our limited thoughts. Our thoughts that it can't happen, that we can't go there, that this is an interesting one, just came to me. If I do this, my family won't like me anymore. Right? What are some other reasons? I'm afraid. Don't have the money, don't have the time. I don't have any understanding. I can tell you when I started my journey as a Unity minister, none of it made any sense. And I can't tell you how many hours I spent crying over it. Because it didn't make any sense. I don't understand. I don't have any way to do it. I can't afford to do this and I can't afford to do that. I got a job and I got a kid and I got a house and I can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. But okay. And I step forward, right? Wow. Always in advance of any that have gone before. I just think that that's the great news. I think that's the incredibly great news. That God will do for us what we cannot do for ourselves, that we can we intuitively will understand the next right thing to do. There are so many intuitives in this building right now that I know you know what I'm talking about. The only time we get messed up with that is when we doubt ourselves and we forget that God is always working in our best behalf, all the time. All the time. And, you know, it's not that there's some guy watching and going, oh, yeah, you know. That our inherent nature of the divine always is for expansion and growth, positivity, love. We have to grab a hold of it and go with it in everything that we do. You know, Wednesday night in class, we did a very cool thing. Everybody took a few moments and made a list of things that they would love, things that they want to accomplish in their lives. And I would recommend everybody do this. Go home this afternoon, go to the beach this afternoon, take some alone time and a piece of paper. And write down everything that you think you'd like to do. Don't worry about all the reasons why you can't. Just write them down. And then what happened was, we had to pick 3 of them. No, 1 of them. We had to pick 1 of them. Which one do we want to share? Because we were in little groups of 4. And it's like, which one are we brave enough to share? Which one can we articulate very clearly? Because that's important. If you muddy up your desires, you're going to get muddy results, right? Which one can you articulate the best? And then which one are you willing to step out on a limb and share with someone? So they did that. And then as we went around the table and you shared your idea, everyone at the table started giving you every single idea they could come up with about how that could happen. And it didn't matter if it was a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, some of the ideas were kind of funny. But it doesn't matter. Just the idea. It's like priming the pump, right? So you start off with the ideas. Just people are just given anything they can think of, and the person with the ideas writing them down. And after they're all done, and you have all these wonderful ideas, and not so wonderful ideas, really, then you circle the one you're willing to actually take action on this week. Which one are you really willing to step into? You know, there are a lot of things that we say we want to do and want to be and want to have. And we know exactly how we go about getting them. But how often do we not do it? I've got a couple of examples of my own. You know, things that I say I'd like to do, yet I don't actually ever take the time to do it. You know, I thought I really wanted to be a rock star. I took some voice lessons and with a wonderful man, wonderful experience, except I would not practice during the week at all. And it wasn't like it was that tricky. There were some scales and some different, you know, you're a singer, you know you have to practice, right? Not a chance. Somehow or another, I never managed to get that done. And I don't even have to go anywhere or be anywhere special. But I couldn't manage to get it done. So after 6 weeks, I kind of had to laugh at myself and go, well, obviously I don't really want that as much as I thought I did. So I need to quit telling myself that I want to be a rock star. Because I'm not willing to do the work to get there. So in the list of everything, all these wonderful ideas, what is it you're willing to work on this week? So if you have somebody that you can trust, and it has to be somebody who is not going to say, oh, that's crazy. You can't do that. It has to be somebody that you can trust that will support you in what it is that you want to do. And if you have trouble finding that person, call us. We're here Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We'll be happy to support you in anything that you want to do. Because we know that God doesn't give you the desire if it isn't yours to do. And then get some ideas and take action, because action is what makes it happen. I could take those lessons from now until the doomsday. If I'm not ever willing to actually practice singing, I'm never gonna be a rock star. So, Yeah, we might as well just close all the rest of this up. I love you guys dearly. And